and welcome to the Twins Mummy NI podcast. I am mummy to 2-year-old twins Isla and Daria. Join us on our twin adventure as I explore a range of topics on parenthood. Hello everybody and welcome to the 40th episode of the Twins Mummy NI podcast. If you've just stumbled upon this podcast, my name is Carla and I work as a TV journalist, but now I'm a stay-at-home mum to twin toddlers. If you're interested in topics such as maternal mental health, parental well-being and what life is really like for a first-time twin mum, then this is the place for you. You are very welcome. You can also check out our twin adventure on Instagram at twinsmummyNI. Now, this week's podcast episode will be a little different to our normal schedule. It is a short episode to touch base with you, to share how things are going and what the plan is in the next couple of months. I am due to release an episode today and I haven't missed one yet, so I was really keen not to miss the day. So here we are together once again. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. As you listen to this podcast episode, I am currently nearing the end of what I can only describe as a long whirlwind adventure that no doubt will change our lives forever in a good way. The journey certainly hasn't been linear. Motherhood in general hasn't been a linear process either, that's for sure. But like all things in life, I like to do the very best that I can in any situation that is presented in front of me. And that is all I can do. It has been a long and winding old road filled with lots of trepidation, fear, and even excitement all rolled into one. I do hope to reveal the outcome of this journey in episodes to come, but it will depend on how things go over the next couple of days and weeks. You know, twin motherhood for me is a wonderful experience. I am so very thankful for Isla and Daria. It has been a real privilege to become a mum and to watch my 2 little daughters grow up together in our family of 4. With all of that in mind, I do want to discuss one important thing today, and that is keeping in mind the journey that I have been on, that no matter how afraid we feel in life, or in motherhood in fact, or how big the climb is when challenges do come our way, we as mums have the full capacity to believe in ourselves, to step out into the unknown, outside of our comfort zones and go after the things that really matter to us. I am a firm believer that anything worth having in life is never easy. But the hardest part for me is always believing in myself and taking that very first step. Now, I am very glad that I took that first step and embarked on this journey that I am currently on. I hope to have some exciting news for you in the next episode, which will hopefully follow up in the next couple of months. But to mark the 40th episode today of the Twins Mummy NI podcast, I wanted to pause and reflect on the journey that we have all been on together as families of multiples. Let's go back to the very beginning of this journey, when we became a family of 4. I remember when I first found out that I was pregnant and that I was expecting twins, nothing prepared me for that moment. It was such a whirlwind of emotions, fear of the unknown, excitement of what life would become. Can you remember the day when you found out that you were expecting multiples? What was your experience like? I always remember that moment very well. I don't think I'll ever forget it, that's for sure. I couldn't believe the news that the midwife was sharing with us at our very first scan. I remember thinking to myself, how in the world am I going to manage pregnancy? A twin pregnancy? How am I going to manage looking after 2 babies at once? You know, everything felt so very overwhelming in the beginning. But here we are, 2.5 years later, and I am thankful to say that we survived it all. The good days, the not so good days, and those days in between where we did what we had to do to get by, and that will always be good enough. I can't help but think about everything that we have experienced since that moment, finding out that we were pregnant with twins. Everything that has happened between now and then. I have laughed, I have cried, and I've learned so much about myself in the process. And I can safely say that my biggest teachers have been little Isla and Aria by my side. It hasn't been the easiest of experiences of times with, for example, the lack of sleep in the newborn days, managing hormones, losing my father and recovering from a C-section. And now we're in the trenches of twin toddlerhood, which comes with a brand new set of challenges in itself. But one thing I am certain is that having twins has been one of the best things that has ever happened to us. And for that, I will always be very thankful. I'm so glad that I took that step out into the unknown. It's no secret that I was afraid of pregnancy and childbirth in the past, and what the unknownness of that journey would be like and what life would be like. It wasn't an easy decision to take that leap of faith and go ahead and try for a little family. But the learning always comes in the doing for me. And I am so very thankful that I finally found the courage to take that leap of faith and go ahead and have a little family. The joy and the happiness that Isla and Aria bring not only to ourselves here in our family home as a family of 4, but to all of our family and friends and the people that we meet in the streets. And at times I have to pause and think, how could something like pregnancy or childbirth be something that I was so afraid of in the past, yet bring so much joy to us now? But as I say, the learning is in the doing. I had to make that decision and go ahead and face the fear to learn that there was no real threat there, and there never was. So if there is anybody out there listening today who perhaps is afraid maybe of pregnancy, maybe of childbirth or whatever is going on in your life at that moment, please know, number one, that you are not alone with that fear. I throw my hand up and say, I, for one, was one of those people. And equally, there's no shame in feeling afraid. All of us feel afraid in life. We all have our little things in life. Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people are afraid of heights. Everybody has little things for them in life. But the best decision that I ever made was talking to somebody about that. It could be your partner, it could be a close family member, a friend, or perhaps a professional, an expert in a GP or in the counselling field as well. Whatever you feel comfortable with, but it certainly was life-changing for me, and it is part of the reason why Isla and Aria are here today and are helping me to share my story with you. Coming back to this week's podcast episode, I am very thankful for Isla and Aria, and as I say, taking that leap of faith, facing that fear and having a little family of our own. Don't get me wrong now, the comments in public still do come, but I like to remind myself that it is a privilege to be a twin mum, no matter what others think and feel when they see us in public as twin parents. My mind is going back to 2 years ago, whenever we came home from the hospital with our 2 little babies. And I remember, just thinking to myself, what in the world will our lives look like now? That seems such a far cry, those feelings in the early days to current day now, where Isla and Aria are almost 2.5 years old. And I have learned so much over these past couple of years. It has been a humbling experience. The biggest lesson that I have learned is that we as mums and dads of multiples are much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And people say that all the time, and I kind of think to myself, that's grand, you're right. But they are right. There are hard moments. There are also happy moments. And there are those moments in between that we as families do what we need to do to get by. And as I say, that is good enough. I share with you, I still at times feel the mum guilt when I'm managing 2 babies at the one time. I remember in the beginning feeling so guilty. For example, if one twin was crying and they had to wait till I fed the other twin, or perhaps changed the nappy until I could actually lift them to help them. That was hard. And nowadays, it isn't really much different either. The guilt is there at times, but I'm learning to manage it better and know that all will be well. I love seeing Isla and Aria's little personalities shine through now. They have so much empathy and care for each other, even at this very young stage. If one twin is crying, the other will put out their little hand just to console them. And it's in these precious moments that I learn the beauty of kindness in a world where at times it can be so very cruel. I have no idea what the future will look like, what the world will be like as Isla and Aria grow up. But I hope to bring them up as best as I can to handle any situation that comes their way in life. I'm not sure what the future will look like in the next couple of days and weeks and years ahead here in our family home. But I know I don't have to have it all figured out. I am afraid. I am nervous at the moment. But I'm also excited about what the next chapter in our lives will look like. I will be taking a very short break from the podcast just to spend some time with our little family here at home. That's very important to me. I talk about the importance of that in the podcast, and I like to actually live that out myself here as well. There are times I have to remind myself of that and the importance of that. But I will be back in the not too distant future with the follow-up episode to this podcast today. In the meantime, can I say, if there is anyone out there listening today who, like me, is afraid of the unknown and what the future may bring, or perhaps you're in the trenches of the newborn days and up in the wee hours feeding babies and are feeling so many emotions in this moment, please know that you are not alone with how you're feeling. The best decision that I ever made was to have the confidence to speak to someone about that. Coming to the end of this week's podcast episode, it is a very short one. But as I say, I do hope to follow up the next episode with something exciting to share with you all being well. It will depend on how things go over the next little while, but hopefully I'll be in touch soon with some nice news. Between now and then, I leave you with one final thought. No matter what is going on in your life, in your family home, keep going and remember just how far you have come in life. Nothing in our lives has beat us yet. Thank you for keeping me company on this journey so far. I am nervous and excited for what lies ahead. No doubt our lives will change forever once again. But one thing I am certain about is that I am very thankful for each one of you. It has been a real pleasure to connect with you all in the Twins Mummy NI Instagram page. Also at the Multiples Parents meetups and of course through the Twins Mummy NI podcast as well. I hope to resume the meetups soon in the next couple of months, and I look forward to broadcasting more episodes of the podcast in the next little while as well. So, a wee bit emotional, but it's goodbye for now. And a gentle reminder that no matter what journey we are all on in life, that there is always hope to be found somewhere. Well, that's it for this week's podcast episode. Thank you for your time today. I will join you next time for a chat on the Twins Mummy NI podcast. In the meantime, take care. And remember, there is always